2021 is where 3i Infotech carved out the products division and became a debt-free company, emerged from the CDR and became a debt-free company. And the listed company was left behind with the services part of the business. And that is where myself and the new management team took over this company. And the biggest task in front of us was being entrepreneurs and trying to see how to revive, reboot, and build this new 3i together. With that background, 3i was no longer, we wanted to kind of, build this new organization, leaving behind the good and bad legacies of the past. And then we rebranded ourselves to 3i as the I stands for 3i stands for incubate, innovate, and invent. And that's our new mantra. And then we also set a course for ourselves saying that, now that we are debt free, we are building a services organization, because traditionally 3i Infotech in the past was a product organization known for its products within the BFSI space, and services was also a kind of add-on line of business to the product. So fundamentally, 3i was never a services company. So post the carve-out, we had 2-3 tasks in hand. With all our products gone, left behind with the services, we have to first build the services on par and on parity with the market, with any of our peers, and see if we can be a challenger. So we set a course for ourselves saying that we'll be a cloud-first, digital inside, cognitive power, and edge-ready company. And in the short to medium term, we had to quickly build our competencies and capabilities to be a challenger and compete in the market space. Second, in mid to long term, we also set a course for ourselves saying that we will be a $1 billion company by 2030. We also wanted to try and see how to kind of break away from the traditional services models as we are building and competing in the services business. We also wanted to invest in new products and platforms. We built our new brand called NURE, N-U-R-E, which is could be pronounced as New Ray. But New and Ray are both cloud in Estonian and Albanian languages. So to create a parallel brand, we started building New Ray, and all our new lines of businesses and digital services, new products and platforms we're building are now consolidated under the New Ray brand. If you go look at it, we have created multiple new subsidiaries, which will create new lines of businesses in parallel to the original 3i Infotech, which is the bonnet of the bank. And the New Ray is now trying to be beyond the banking sectors, beyond just services, creating products and platforms and IP as well, and valuation for our shareholders. To accelerate that, we also invested in a entrepreneur in residence program, because necessity is the mother of all invention, because being with our frugal small budgets, we had to innovate. We brought in entrepreneurs to say build products and platforms within our own gambit. And I'm happy to announce, in fact, some of them have matured, where they are now evolving with products and platforms, which has valuation. And we are now carving them out as separate subsidiaries. For example, New Ray Future Tech is one such subsidiaries, which is focused on cognitive computing, building cutting edge products in those areas. In fact, we have our IIT Tech Park, where we are very proud to have some real next generation engineers building these next generation products and platforms. This also drives indirectly services revenues for our mainstream services business. Plus, we also wanted to invest in some of the other areas like Oracle. We are proud to say that in the last 2 years, we have built a great competence in Oracle COE, not just in OCI in the cloud, but the entire end-to-end in terms of DevOps, testing, and now we are even investing in Oracle Apex, which is the RPA for Oracle as well. So Oracle is a very important arrowhead strategy for us. We experimented with a Tier 3 center in Tirunelveli, where we brought in fresh engineers, trained them, and we are happy to report the first batch of 100 people have surpassed performances in Oracle certification, and we're now going for the next 100. So broadly, that's a quite quick recap, if I may look at it for folks who are pretty new to 3i or the new 3i. I'll pause here, and maybe then we can open up the conversation for questions.
Mr. Sanjay Rava has joined us. He is the CFO of the organization. Now we'll start with the question and answer session. So I'll just ask participants to raise their hands so that we can go one by one. So the first question is coming from Chirag Kacheria. He's from Ashika Stockbroking House. Chirag, unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Yeah, thank you for giving the opportunity, Varsha. I have a couple of questions. I'm into market since the last 1 decade, and I have seen the ticker of the company, but I've never observed, what company is doing and all. So I'm attending this call for the first time and listening to you also for the first time. I just want to know, product and platform space is very, niche in the entire IT industry. So very few successful examples or testimonial available for anyone to, draw the roadmap that what can happen to the company, and even for you also to navigate. It's a bit challenging because not so discuss or any success story available from Indian market side. So to whom you consider your peers? First question, and second, why you interested to buy or interested to manage the company which which face so much difficulty or challenges in the recent past? Or so that's the question. Rather, can start something your own.
Yeah. No, I'll answer the second question, Chirag, because I still remember when I was interviewed by the board. Okay, the board was looking for absolute entrepreneurs to turn around the company because, and unless somebody wants to take up that challenge and do that, personally, I feel once in a lifetime, you get these opportunities to turn around a listed company, and especially a listed company which doesn't have a promoter right now, Chirag. So it also makes you more accountable. And me and my team, most of us, all of us are aligned in that vision where we want to work together and see how we could, turn around this company and leave a mark behind. And I'll tell you, for example, when I took over, we were talking to IIM, they reached out, they were, in fact, as a coincidence, they were doing a white paper on, various case studies of how to run companies and how not to run some companies. Unfortunately, 3i was in the other aspects, where they said, okay, it's a great start, 25 years of legacy, born out of a bank, but still you managed to end up in all kinds of problems. So the case study. Then when we came over, we spoke about it. They got impressed. In fact, we have a quarterly review with them, and they are now giving us a chance. Okay, fine, we are not publishing the old white paper. If you guys really turn around, this could be a case study of how to turn around companies, Chirag. So that's really motivates us, Chirag. On the second question. The first question is, again, a very powerful question. In fact, I'll try and articulate it a slightly different way. Typically, stereotype today in services industry in India is, Chirag, is the problem is we have been extremely successful for the last 20 years as a economy, as a country. That model has worked. Even if we look at it, we used to proudly say that, I created 20,000 jobs in this country, 30,000 jobs. Our CVs read like that, correct? We brought so many jobs. We created this offshore model. We have this fantastic services business. It's still good. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is also a huge headwinds. The changes are happening. Digitization is happening. Automation is happening. An entire services business is going to be disrupted with humanoid kind of mix. So that's a reality. So the convergence of the product platform world and the services world is happening. There's no running away from it. Okay, that is very, very clear. The second thing which we see is also for a company like us who have to be a challenger today, Chirag, I'll tell you today for us to get a seat at the table, some of these products and platform which you are now trying to build get a seat to us because customers start listening to you. They are very serious about it because they know these guys are not talking in the air. Where I'm coming from. It's not vaporware. We are talking about, proactively working on that. The second is a very important point. Now, how do you balance cost, investments versus this? So what we do is our product roadmap is slightly different. We focus first on a true customer problem, which is a services problem. We orchestrate a solution with it. A solution is then created. Then some of these solutions are then tried to see if they can be made as a platform and then made into a product. So that is the roadmap which we have. The third thing I'll tell you, which is very unique, Chirag, is no other companies there because we have all been on the other side of the fence. We have been there. All of us tried entrepreneur in residence program in a lot of services companies, not been successful because culturally the large corporates are not set for an entrepreneurial outlook. We will suffocate the entrepreneurs and it will fail because we tried to bring the large company thinking into a very, very agile small thing. Here, the difference we have done is we have kept it as a separate division. So for us, we are focused more or less, if I ask you, though we leverage those products, we are more like an angel investor in that, right? And we are giving them the freedom to innovate and invest, and we get, acceleration in our services revenue using that. And if those products are successful, to your point, we have valuation. Now, today I have two, three entrepreneurs who are saying, Thomson, I'm going to be $40 million worth in 6 months, $50 million, good for us. So for us, I think we have thought through this model, Chirag, with all our so many years of experience. We're kind of trying to figure out how to balance risk versus investments versus being also grounded in the market. I don't know whether I answered your question.
Yeah, and about peers who are there in this space, in global as well as in domestic market.
See, for us, Chirag, we are kind of little diversified. For example, we also have a very strong digital infrastructure management business, which is our IT infrastructure, your data center management. So it depends country to country. If you look at those classic businesses also, we are pretty strong. For example, we are now taking away business from, let's say, from what I call as the volume business, Chirag. In India, if you look at it, we won a HPCL, we won so many deals like that, where we manage entire end-to-end infrastructure for, say, HPCL, right from the data center management to your desktop management to your field engineers. We got some 400 guys roaming around the whole country. So if you ask me a peer in that, maybe a CMS to a team computers might be a peer in that. I'm saying in that line of business. Now, if I get into application development or testing or all other, I think we compete with all other peers, right? From your tier 1 to your tier 2, everybody competes with us. So fundamentally, we are a challenger, but we are focused more on the tier 2 space, Chirag, if I may look at it. Tier 1, we are not wasting our energies right now. The tier 2 space is where we are, focusing on. I've always said this consistently. For me, my admiration is Happiest Minds. Ashok Soota is a great role model, and we want to emulate him and try and see if we can be as profitable as him.
And you plan to raise fund also going forward?
No, obviously, because whatever limited funds we got from the carve out, we've been managing it frugally, and also the turnaround also, because we have to raise capital for sure. And second, that's the reason why we kind of simplified it also. We brought in these subsidiaries where we are building these products and platforms. And that is also a vehicle for raising capital there. So we can separate the services organization from those as well. So it kind of reduces the pressure on the parent company as well. So the answer is yes, of course, we would need to raise capital. But maybe not this year. I think we'll focus with what we have. We have some assets which need to be monetized. We are trying to sweat these assets. And try and see how we can fund our growth. And this year is also going to be a very careful year because there's a lot of headwinds. It's opportunity also for challenges, but we have to be very, very careful. This year is going to be a tough year.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chirag.
Thank you, Chirag. The next question is coming from Divya Daga from Vijit Global Securities.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Divya.
My question is, the operating margin on quarterly basis has been quite volatile. So is there any specific reason regarding that?
Yeah, okay. Maybe there are two parts, okay? Then I'll allow to Sanjay to add to that more from a financial perspective. First is, we need to understand some of the constraints we have as a company right now and how we are changing the mix. Unlike all services business, our offshore mix is very limited. As I told you, we were originally a product platform company, which also did services. So predominantly, if you look at the businesses, is all onshore driven services business, which were there. So what happens? Your GMs are much lower than your traditional services peers, if I may look at it. So that is one issue. The second, on an operating margin level, also what happened post carve out. Also, if you look at it, now I think we have kind of come to a very stabilized level the last quarter. We don't get a big surprises, and we are moving towards very close to break even on operating margin, though we are positive at a PBT level. But if you look at it, we had a lot of exceptional items hitting us post carve out. If you look at quarter on quarter, those were happening, and we had to kind of proactively also clean up a lot of stuff. So we did a lot of benchmarking, and our focus was heavily on building a solid foundation, get our fundamentals right. So we are proactively cleaning up, proactively providing for legacy issues, because the company has a huge 27 years legacy, was listed way back in 2005. So we kind of proactively cleaned up, Divya. So that also led to a bit of variability in operating margin, as you put it. But at least from a business operating margin, we are now very steadily in control and moving towards an absolute break even. And also those exceptional items are all died off mostly. Sanjay can add, if you want to add on top of that.
Okay.
I think Sanjay dropped. Yeah, I don't know whether I answered your question, Divya.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Divya. I'll just ask participants to raise their hands to ask further questions to management. The next question is coming again from Divya. Divya, please go ahead.
So my next question is, nearly 10% of the revenue comes from BPS segment. How do you see its contribution going forward?
Yeah, I get a great question. Divya, all of us struggle with this revenue mix. So revenue mix is a very important thing which we are tracking. So for example, there are two parts the way I look at it. BPS revenue is it is also sizable for us today. If you look at it, almost as you rightly put it, we are almost 10% of that is the BPS or the BPO revenue. But what we are looking at it is that unlike traditional BPO companies, we are a technology company. We want to kind of really execute the digital insight in our mantra. As I said, cloud first, digital insight, cognitive powered, and edge ready. So digital insight means driving more automation, digitizing it. So we want to kind of translate this classic BPO to a digital BPS company, which is embedded with technology, embedded with automation. And we are making a lot of mix. If you ask me the next level question, Divya, can you give me a mix of a digital BPS and a classic BPS? And I'm proud to say that out of that 85-90 crores, if you look at it, we have already got 15 crores, which are the next generation. When I mean next generation, I got bots and humans working together. So traditionally, what a BPO does with 100 people, we'll do 50 people. But the problem is the market is not ready. See, if you look at market is still not ready. Because if you look at my customers are still not ready to take it. Simple answer to you, we will continue to change the mix of classic BPO versus this digital BPO, Divya, and that will give us more margins, because ultimately you will be able to do the same work with lower number of people, and most of that will be automated, digitized, and now we are living in a era of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Sorry, Thompson, my line was a bit disturbing. Just to take that earlier question, Divya, what Thompson was saying is right. We had the swing in the operating margin, primarily due to on-site centric some swings we had in terms of some projects getting closed. But if you could see our results for the past 3 quarters, our operating margin is more or less near to the break-even. And we had this one-timers, which has anyway been considered under the exceptional item. So I would say pretty much under control right now on the operating margin that we have. We don't have any surprises like coming in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Divya. The next question is coming from Rochan Patnaik from Choice Broking. Rochan, unmute yourself.
Hey, hi guys, Varun here from Rochan Sir's team.
Hi, Varun.
So Mr. Thompson, I'd like you to please share some guidance on existing order book and how do we plan to gain market share in an already crowded space dominated by legacy players?
No, great question, Varun. It's a lovely question because that keeps me awake because we keep thinking, how do you find the space for yourself? Okay. So as I said, even in the start of the conversation, the only option for us is to be a challenger, Varun. So the challenger is by taking calculated risks is the only way we can do it. Defined risk is not on margins. Risk is from the type of solutions we want to orchestrate. Okay. So that is going to be the differentiator for us because we want to be an orchestrator of solutions which solve business problems aligned to business outcomes of our clients. That's the important point. All of us have been in the industry. So it is a question of how much, see, if you look at a reverse, okay, my competition is now going into a defense mode right now. Okay, whether it's a tier 1 or the tier 2, all of them are in the defense mode, are not going to cannibalize their own revenue. A challenger like me will attack and disrupt their model to cannibalize their revenue. So for example, I'll give you a small example. We won a recent deal in a testing space as well as in a cybersec space. What a very big giant competition manages with 40 odd people. We are now offering 10 people. It's absolute disruption. And it's not that they are not aware, they don't have the technology. Its question is when they want to deploy it. It's as simple as that. For us, we have nothing to lose because we are going to cannibalize them. So that's one strategy, Varun. And that's the only way we can survive as well and survive and thrive. Okay, we cannot be on parity level with any of them. Okay, that is one. The second is also find our own niche areas. So I'll give you a small example. Now, in America, instead of all of us going and beating ourselves in tier 1 banks, which we all worked in our past, we are very focused in our own mid segment or mid to even like, our Indian equivalent of a cooperative bank, like a credit union. We are very focused on that. And in the last 2 years, we have made so much progress that we might be the only first Indian company to even probably come up with, very customized, focused services and solutions for them. So that's a niche space we want to create for ourselves because none of the big guys would want to play in the space, or they might come there once we probably start the market, if you ask me. So that's a classic example. We were in in an event in North America. I think we are the only Indian company among some 3,000 non-Indians participating. So just imagine what you're trying to do. That is one. The third thing, Varun, we want to do very, very clear is with the changing geopolitical scenarios, socioeconomic scenarios which are happening today, every country wants to build jobs there. Okay, so the biggest opportunity we see is using technology, digital, and insight and cognitive capability. We could offer onshore services which are extremely powered by technology and still make reasonable gross margins. So those are the trends which are happening. And also, I'll tell you the other biggest trend which is happening in the market is every customer is trying to look at moving jobs closer to them. So the reverse transition is happening. So that's a big opportunity now because for us, we got nothing to lose. Somebody comes back and says, hey, Thompson, what you moved 10 years ago when you were in Exabear, can you bring it back? Yeah, the answer is yes.
So if I understand correctly, we're trying to penetrate through differentiated products and services rather than playing on the cost arbitrage story.
Yeah. The arbitrage story is over, Varun. It's all over. India is actually super expensive. Cost of quality is very high in India right now. So we have beaten it to death for the last 25 years, to be very honest.
And sir, any number on the order book side?
I will probably, instead of, speculating on order book, I think the important thing, Varun, I want to leave is we are building an order book in line of our investments. Say, for example, Oracle COE is a very important strategy for us. Okay, so we bet on Oracle and we get mutual support from Oracle also, even as a, relatively smaller player. So those order books, we are really working on it. So we call it the value business, if you look at it. So those order books are really growing. The revenue mix change is happening. The type of contract mix is changing. So if you look at it, at least, and see, this year we have to be very careful, okay? there's also going to be erosion. If you look at it, traditional business erosion is happening across the world for every company, and we'll have to kind of figure out how to replace it and then try and do that. Definitely, we want to run with the order book target, for next year. If you look at it for the new line of business of a minimum 100 crores, if you look at it, because that is very important, because that 100 crores will give us better margins and change the entire margin mix for us as well.
Right. So are we really partnering with, let's say, big players like IBM and Rackle to for looking for further sales, or do we have our own sales desk?
No, two parts. We have also invested in our own sales desk. Great question. We have three tracks of sales go-to-market. We have invested in Oracle Global team, which is like a practice team, which works with Oracle salespeople also to generate revenue. That is one track. Second track, we have our own direct sales teams also across the world, going after certain clear named accounts, and which is your traditional direct sales organization. The third thing we are innovating also is we are looking at channel sales as well. So we got channel partners who are also we are bringing on board because that will help us optimize the sales cost and drive it. So all the three tracks are there, even from a sales cost perspective across direct sales, alliances, and OEM-led sales, which is like working with Oracle, and the third is channel sales as well. Are three tracks.
Right, sir. And any numbers on the revenue growth? Any margin guidance?
Not right now. Right now, because we are still in the period of closing out our year this year. Definitely, we will come out with a statement next year. When we do our results, and do that, and I'll probably take that question at that point of time. Also, just to highlight, we have also gone beyond the classic B2B services, since you touched upon these revenue guidance as well. Recently, we won the RailTel deal. So the RailTel deal, just for the benefit of everybody, also from a revenue perspective, also it goes away from the classic B2B services. It is fundamentally B2B to C, and it's a convergence of what we want to do on a edge computing as well. So it ticks off everything right from edge cloud to edge application. We are developing the super app. We are sweating their existing assets. There is edge analytics, edge security, and helping RailTel to monetize their Wi-Fi. So that one itself, if you ask me, Varun, could be a different line of revenue itself. Once it kicks off, we are looking at 5 years, very, very conservatively 300, 350 crores, but it can go up to 1,000, 1,500 crores on its own. So it's a company on its own itself. So those are the prospective, positive sides, Varun, if you ask me. So beyond the classic revenues, these revenues also will add to the company's kitty.
Noted, sir. Thank you, sir. That was really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you, Varun.
Thank you, Varun. The next question is coming again from Divya Daga. Divya, unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi. This is Himanshu from Vijit Global. My question is about 4 quarters back, when I was looking at your investor presentations, there were about 4,000 plus employees, and you've been recruiting pretty fast. So today you have about 6,000 plus employees. But when I look at the employee expenses, they're almost the same. So any specific reason for that?
Okay, I'm not sure because yeah, at the revenue mix growth, Himanshu, fundamentally, there's been growth on the BPO side, which also kind of adds the number of people, but the revenue per employee may not have grown as much as so much. So I'm not exactly. I'm sure.
I'd like to add that here. Just take on that question. While we added in BPO, just to add to what Thompson is saying, there has been a reduction in our direct employment in the US. So on an average, it may look, Himanshu, there is a slight increase over that period, over four quarters period, but primarily due to this reason, because we have a high cost resources loading out. We go in a model of a subcontracting model in the US, and the headcount reduction has directly affected the manpower cost going down for a high cost resource. And fulfilled by the growth in the BPO space for a low cost resource. That's the reason you see the headcount going up and the cost remaining the same.
That's right. Absolutely, yeah. And thanks, Sanjay. And because obviously, the onshore businesses, thanks to the new Biden, there was a lot of fast track green cards happening. So a lot of our loyal employees decided to pursue other opportunities once they get the green card. So that kind of flipped the numbers versus cost as well. Yeah, Harish, you want to?
Just wanted to add one more thing there. So traditionally, what used to happen is there used to be a regular churn of these employees getting green cards and moving out, and at the same time, fresh H-1Bs coming in. But because of the COVID pandemic, there were 2-3 years of H-1Bs not going into the United States. So that's taking an cascading impact now in as from last financial years and all. So that's the reason we were not able to fulfill fresh bloods there, and the old timers who got their green cards moved out. And I think this year onwards, we should be back on track on that, because we got around 50 H-1Bs shortlisted last year, and they're on the way to the US this year. And we should be back on track as we move on here.
Yeah, thank you. My next question is related to the vision that you have shared. You wish to be a $1 billion company by 2030. So that's actually a pretty high CAGR of about 35 to 40%. If you could just let us know.
Himanshu, I think I kind of alluded. It's a great question. It's a great question, great observation. Thank you for that. And I kind of set the stage for that question in the previous when I was answering Varun as well. See, typically you're spot on with the CAGR of a typical services company. It's impossible. Okay, you're not going to get that number. So if you look at the three engines of growth when we even set ourselves 2 years ago, Himanshu. One is your classic B2B service model, which we are completing and growing. Beyond that, we also wanted to get into B2B2B and B2B2C. Okay. I'll explain B2B2B. B2B2B is something like where, for example, we created our own SASE product. Okay. The POs are done, commercial modeling is, customers are being acquired. Now we are partnering telcos to sell it through to their SMB and mid-market customers or enterprise customers. So that is B2B2B. That's a separate revenue stream. So which will give us accelerated revenues. If you look at it, if I take a telco, I'm just saying right now we are working in Africa and Europe also, some of these telcos where these pilots are happening. Each of them have around 400 enterprise customers, and 400 customers have, I'm just saying, on average, another 200 users they might buy. It's a huge market, if you can visualize what I'm trying to say. So that is one track. The second track is something like what we are now tied up with RailTel. We also said in our vision statement, we'll also do B2B2C. So that is where now RailTel kind of projects will come in, where we are going to the end consumer itself of Wi-Fi monetization, leveraging all our technology. Now, if you add all these three tracks, you will get the numbers, Himanshu.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Thompson, this is Ankit here from Vijit Global.
Hi.
I have a question regarding our product side revenue. So when we sell out our products or services, usually let's say for the new suits or those kind of things, these are all like just upfront monthly costs in that, or you provide services to do like customization for them as well for the product. I mean, I'm trying to understand the revenue model for different NeuroSuites and AAA that we have.
Yeah. No, great question again. So what we did is we have broken into three parts. We call it Center of Services, Center of Experience, and Center of Experience Excellence, and Center of Innovation. Now, the Center of Services is where you, let's say if there's a product idea or the ideas come from a customer, to your point, we use the customer's problem statement to create a kind of a solution. So that's a classic services model. We go build a guy. I'll give you a small example. We are building a product for CXO Cockpit, which is agnostic for any data warehouse or whatever, a CXO Cockpit. We just go there with a standard API, plug and play, configure it, and a CEO cockpit or whatever can happen. I'm just saying an example. The idea for that started with a customer. Customer says, boss, please help me transform my cognitive analytics. I am stuck in descriptive analytics. Can you give me predictive, prescriptive, next best action, decision support, and all that good stuff? Now we come in there as center of services. It's a project. Customer pays for it. He paid me 500K for it. We developed for him. Now using that, now we productize it actually. But when we are building the solution, we keep a product architecture in mind when we are building it. The component levels are very, very thought through so that we don't make it like a custom build. So it is productized to that level, modular level. So architecture is thinking as a center of innovation level, which is like a product which will generate IP. Now the second stage of that is you standardize it for an industry. So maybe for banking or credit union, you do that, or healthcare in NHS, you do that, which is your COE. Then to your point, that becomes a standardized offering. Now what we sold it to that one guy, now we're going to launch it as a PaaS product. Okay, so PaaS product will be like any other SaaS, but PaaS we have to do a bit of customization. So customization will be 20% in the second stage, but your the payment model will be a monthly, annual, recurring plan or something like that. He'll pay a setup fee. The third stage will be an absolute SaaS product. So that's how the graduation path will be. So it graduates from a solution services to a kind of customizable platform, if I may, to second stage. The third stage is a total SaaS product. So that's the journey. So if you ask me, Nure products, most of them are, some of them are graduated to the center point, like where there's a PaaS level. This year we are putting our annual operating plan, how you will do it in the PaaS level. And maybe one or two are graduating to a SaaS level, where we'll even have integration onto payment gateways and everything, where it is like any other utilities. For example, SaaS, guy pays for it, he doesn't pay, it will just disconnect on its own. That's about it.
Okay, sounds good. And then I have a follow-up question to that. So most of these products that we are trying to, all these, are we trying to sell it in US, focusing in US, or it's more like in India? Because in US there are a lot of competition regarding these suits like Neurodesk, the Neuro Cloud. Those kind of solutions are already there, like with AWS and Azure. So just trying to understand where we are focusing on these products with our business.
So great question again. So see, every geography has got an arrowhead. Okay, so for example, the CXO cockpit, for example, we are focusing in US, focusing on credit unions. We're like super on a particular market. Okay. Similarly, in NHS, we are focusing on something. So Middle East and India, we have certain. So it is geo-led strategy. It's not like everything will fit in everywhere. But you're spot on because the maturity of some of these is very high. So even if you take our Nure Edge SaaS product, a normal SaaS might be there, but our opportunity gives that it is beyond a SaaS for an enterprise. It can be even there are multiple stuff which we can do that with SaaS product also. You can replace the entire cybersec multiple platforms by a single platform. So a product entry could also give you a large services opportunity also. We got it that way. We just sold this as a product. And then once we got into the account, we were able to get a massive cybersec ops deal itself using that. So those are the ways we'll have to be at nimble and move along, because we can't have one right now. How do I say tight jacketed approach? But to your question, it is geo-based strategy. We cannot have one brush. And of course, India is a great area where we want to experiment. Say, for example, we are trying to do our 5G lab as a service. Okay, so we are now experimenting. Our own SD-WAN is there, which is competing with any of your other SD-WANs is there. So though we do your Cisco Fortinet, we are also trying to sell our SD-WAN. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, we are giving trials free for somebody. Okay, they'll say, why should I buy from you? You try it, no? What's your problem? So it's a good entry strategy as well, where you build trust of the brand as well.
Thank you, Thompson.
Yeah.
This is Divya this side. I have a few questions related to RailTel. My first question is, as the revenue share between the company and the RailTel is 14 crore or 40% of the revenue share, whichever is higher, the minimum revenue potential is 250 crore estimated throughout the period of 5 years. When we will start working on that?
Yeah, so great question. As I'm speaking to you, we have listed it as a separate company. It's called Nure Media Tech Limited. It's a closely held company. On a positive note, if you do well, we might even list it separately within 2 years. That's our aspiration as a group as well. And I'm sure. And the second point is we are progressing very well. We intend to launch the first Cap2 portal and the initial part of the app very shortly. We are waiting for some dates or common dates. We will launch it. You will see some press release and other stuff happening. In fact, it's ready. So that will legitimately start the business immediately. So in our effort is that Q1, we will start hitting revenues in that track as well. Because even our meter will start running, I'll have to pay to Railtel as well, the minimum amount. But the good news is that we got the Cap2 portal ready and the ad servers and all the backend integrations, and the basic app also will be ready, so that consumers can start downloading the free Wi-Fi and we start getting our revenue. So revenue streams, there are 4 tracks. One is classic ads, which is your banner ginner, all that, like old school. You get a sponsorship ads and you get money out of it. Second is your classic digital ads, which you do your Google ads, anything, whatever it is, like a classic, ads which are there, second stream. The third stream is also, there's a great opportunity for content monetization, because the focus area is Bharat. It's not for all of us in the call, it's for Bharat. It's a total different segment, and the thinking is totally different. We are talking about 700 million people in Bharat. It's a massive potential, the way we look at it. So content monetization is a big opportunity there. Beyond the ad revenues, finally also other services. So we are also now building, once the super app is built, you will have linkages to anything. Say, for example, on the go, you want to hire, book your Ola Auto to whatever you want. I'm just saying as an example. We'll make money everywhere. You want to buy food, we'll make money. You want to look at astrology, we'll make money. So it's a super app, so it's what a commoner needs today. You want to do an IAS exam, or a IRS exam and, study that, we'll make money.
I have a question regarding that. Which app we can compare Railway Super App? Is there any
benchmark?
No, we'll be setting a new benchmark here. I don't think there is an app today as a super app today. Okay, if you look at it, you challenge me with a super app today. See, there are a lot of intent which is there. If you look at in the government sector, I don't think we have a super app today. Even if we integrate the multiple apps within government itself, that's a first step for us. That is always a big relief for anybody. That's point number 1. Then you bring it it's like a mall, right? It's like a big, massive mall. Now everybody can open shop inside your super app. Anybody can, coexist with you, and it's an agreement. So fundamentally, we are building a massive grand mall. If you look at it, the first step is to simplify it from the government perspective. Whatever apps are there, which is there, we interface so the passengers, ease is very, very easy. So, for example, IRTC is there. You don't have to go to IRTC. Now we'll have an API. You can go through our app also. You can go through IRTC directly also. It's your choice. But it's a convenience if you look at it.
Okay. So I have a question like, in this project, we only include the existing railway stations, that is 6,102 Wi-Fi, or more the upcoming ones as well?
Yeah, the phase 1 is this, which is the number you're spot on. I think my understanding, I don't know, Harish, it's around 8,000, right? Yeah.
So what is happening is, when we started bidding for the RFP, it was 6,102. As we are speaking, it's already gone to 6,108, and it's going to be connected over the same Railtel Wi-Fi network. And as and when platforms gets added, they will be in our network for it to be monetized. To answer your question, Vijay.
Okay, are we recruiting separately for this?
Yeah, it's a separate company.
It's a separate company per se. It will have a proper org structure. It will have its proper annual business plans within CFO, CHRO, all support functions, and business heads, everything as it would be in any other organizations.
Yeah, like it'll be totally separate, and one of our senior colleagues, Sax Krishna, will be leading it. from our core, but the remaining we are bringing people from that industry, right? It has different skill sets because you need people from advertisement industry. We might do the technology side of it, but there are a lot of skills which has to be complemented in that capability.
That's right.
Okay. So is this project just for 5 years or is it extendable?
5 + 2 years. Extendable by another 2 years.
On a lighter note, we want it to be extended also, no? So that's good for all of us. We want to list that company. It's good for all of us. And then also see, for example, it's going beyond the railway stations, right? Tomorrow it will be seamless for you in the bus stations. You go into a metro, everything will be there. You go into your Vande Bharat. So everything is going to be seamless. So that's our ambition as well. So we have a head start. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Are there any other similar orders we are expecting in coming quarters like RailTel?
No, it's a great question again, because that is the reason why we want to keep this separately as a Newray MediaTek Limited company, so that this company can use this reference to build even globally, because globally this is an opportunity. Already we are getting inquiries. We said, boss, let's start running first. We are like babies right now. Give us 2 quarters. Let us execute, find out all the challenges. See, look at it. It's a great project, right? What are we saying? We are saying, hey, RailTel, we will come take over your current assets. Assets are what? You might have infrastructure, you might have Wi-Fi, those are your assets. I will help you sweat these assets, extract value out of these assets, and let's both of us make money together. So that's the whole pitch, correct? Now, for that, obviously, I need to do certain things which I need to, invest, build this app, build that, and whatever. It's a classic project. And then we kind of scale it up. So the similar problem is there across the world. You go to any developing country today, even developed ones, I'm right now in UK. Yesterday I was in the train journey. Same stuff. There's great opportunity. You can sell it here actually.
What is the combined revenue we are expecting from this project? Is there any? Or in the next financial year?
No, that's what I'm saying. This year, at least the year 1 target we are looking at it is for us as a must-do number where we have to run is we have to hit 25 crores in this coming financial year for us to make some money out of it. So that, because if you look at it, 14 crores goes to them only, which I need to pay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 25 crores is a must-do number and the plans are all in place for us to do it. And the good thing about this business is it's like our olden days. I don't know. I still remember I was in Vodafone those days when we were negotiating for IPL 2008 those days. If you look at it, it's simply the first year people will be, trying to do a favor to you. I still remember those days. I said, boss, next year it might cost you 3x. So don't be nasty to me. So once you lock in people, the revenues are with you for a long time. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So to your question, I think minimum 25 crores we have to hit. But our target is we are running for 40 crores.
Okay. So I have next question regarding Cloud First. So 9-month revenue is 10.4 crore. What speed in percentage can we expect in a couple of years?
It's a great question. It's my favorite question. Morning, you made my day because I keep asking this question to all these fellows again. Boss, I need 100 crores. So, I'll tell you, okay, it's a great question. We have made some proactive investments in that, and that's an arrowhead. As I said, Cloud First is an arrowhead. Where we want to play in the spaces, I'll tell you the differentiated spaces. We want to, 2-3 tracks we want to play. Track 1 is everybody is selling cloud, everybody is doing MSP, CSP. There's nothing different, correct? It is on parity. What we want to focus in eliminating cloud waste. See, in what happened during COVID is everybody got locked with cloud. And cloud contracts for 3 years. Once you get stuck, you're stuck. Okay, it's like a monthly bill which comes, you can't do a damn about it, right? Now we are saying we want to get into customers and say, you know what? I will give you a managed services which will drive better governance, optimization, forecasting, and you give me a gain share. Obviously, you give me a fixed value, but let's say if you spend, yesterday, it's classic. Yesterday, I was talking to a customer here. His monthly spend is almost $1 million. Okay, $12 million is burning per annum. Now, the simple deal is, okay, boss, I will help you save this by 30%. You give me 25%. Obviously, you also have to pay some fixed for me. So that is the space we want to do that because we have developed our own secret sauce in those areas. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is also we are focusing heavily on the Oracle Cloud areas. One is working very clearly on the OCI stuff. I spoke about the Oracle COE. So that is a thing which will give us a lot of revenues this year. Okay. The third also, we are building our own Nure 3i Plus cloud. For example, in Malaysia, our cloud is ready. It got delayed a bit, but our cloud is ready. This is the first sovereign cloud, which is, for example, a Malaysian cloud for Malaysia and its sovereign zero trust cloud. And the revenue potential for us is massive, if you ask me, because as it scales up. So similar, clouds we want to put in other countries, which are very specific. As I'm talking to you here, we are talking even in NHS, in the trust. Can we create a healthcare cloud or a credit union cloud in Americas? So those are our focus areas. So this year's plan will be led by cloud first. So if you ask me, the revenue mix will change for us. And the consequent years will be a real uptake in this. And we want to make this at least 100 crores minimum in 2 years.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Divya. The next question is coming from the Rochin from Twice Equity. Please unmute yourself. Rochin, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, and Varun here again. Sir, wanted some more clarity on that super app you were talking about. Wanting to understand the proposition you're offering, and are we planning to sell real estate, the website real estate, or and what exactly is it? I need some more clarity.
Yeah. Good. I like that word you spoke about. The first step is what we call, Harish can always help me in that.
Yep.
He's more closer to the project than I am. First, point number 1 is we have a portal first. Okay. So it is a captive portal. So monetization happens in the portal, which is selling the real estate, as you rightly said, in the portal. So that's a step 1 revenue plan. Then the portal then converts into a app. Okay. Because see, today, anybody wants to use Wi-Fi free, he has to go to the portal. It's classic stuff. You go get your OTP, GTP, and you start using it. And the real estate, you monetize that. Both dynamic ads and static ads and all those stuff will come in. Then the app will be the next level, because the app will not replace or coexist, but the app's journey is different. The app's journey is going beyond just selling real estate, but getting into other lines of revenue lines. Like I spoke about content monetization. It will have APIs to other services. You can buy your food in Swiggy. I'm just making this up. Book your tickets in Make My Trip, or you buy from Naptol because I'm just saying you want to do some e-commerce on that. So all that will start happening in that. Harish, you want to add?
Yeah. So just to give you a perspective as to where we are and how we are going to migrate to what we want to achieve there. So currently, if you look at it, it is a very captive portal, rudimentary provided by RailTel, which gives you 30-minute access at 1 Mbps speed. So when we are moving on to our application or the super app and the way we want to monetize it, as you rightly said, that is real estate on the app across the applications, whether it is in static banner or digital ads that will be coming based on the cognitive inputs that we collect over a period of time, and we do publish generate ad revenues from that. That's one. Second, I think there will be a lot of services which will be availed by the passengers or people coming on the platforms. So in addition to this apps, we will be also having access points in the platforms, which will have content stored on that. So if you are traveling, you can download the content, you can use it in the app when you are traveling. So a lot of services that are being offered along with that. Plus the quality of service also, as compared to a captive portal to the super app, is going to be drastically different. So instead of an 1 Mbps 30 minutes access, you will have at least 4 or 5 Mbps speed and spread over maybe like 3 to 4 hours. So that's what we are being working along with the RailTel guys. So there is an incentive to come on the app rather than continue on the existing RailTel captive portal and get using it and attract people. So content in terms of infotainment, edutainment, travel. There will be like multiple verticals within the super app that we'll be providing to the users and monetizing the app then. So
Yeah,
any more
absolutely. And
questions?
also, absolutely. And just adding to that, also a very important point Harish touched is from a technology construct also, we are strengthening the edge here. So if you look at it from a edge perspective, it is not just, you'll have to hit the main cloud. We are also trying to have a lot of processing power at the edge. So your ability to have more seamless experience is good for the user, and also the cost is very limited for us relatively from the architecture design. Like what Harish said, content can be at the edge already, and it will be pushed from the edge, and you don't have to push it from the central systems.
So is nothing being monetized right now on the current portal? Are there no ad inventories?
There are no ad inventories, and there is very minimal monetization based on paid usage of Wi-Fi, and that's like only I think 50 or 60,000 rupees a month or a year or something, like very minimal, negligible. So otherwise, there is no monetization that's happening today.
And the only compelling point over here about downloading the app is a higher speed.
Plus infotainment, edutainment, everything that content that will come over a period of time.
I think the first step is very simple, boss, and I'll tell you, you get free Wi-Fi. For that, Bharat, 5 Mbps, or even you want to get more with RailTel also, is big stuff. Okay, look at him. For him, he's going to change the data back of 50 rupees per day. So we have done some surveys also. There are people saying that forget about boarding a train, they'll come and work out of a station. In fact, we did a survey in Bihar which told that they are okay to use it and finish his IRS, IAS exam sitting in the station for 4 hours. It's more profitable for him actually.
That's interesting to know.
Yeah, it is very different. So this is going beyond just passengers, because for us all on the call, right? All of us think like how we do it in the airport. Oh, why will I have my own data plan? But you look at from the Bharat perspective, for him that 50 rupees a day is big stuff, guys. It's big stuff for him. He would rather pay 10 rupees, entrance ticket to the platform, go sit there like for 4 hours like an internet center and finish his work. It's his WeWorks.
So I'll just share an India's map as to where all the platforms are. I think that will give a perspective. Just give me a minute. So this is the reach. If you all can see this. Are you able to see the map?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
So
this is the reach.
And the second step is also right. As we keep going beyond it, from a demographics perspective, then you also start getting into more hyper localization. So the ability to hyper localize even ad inventory will be far higher here.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity.
Yep.
So I think just one more information I think I would like to share since we are on this subject, and that can give an potential view as to what we are looking at, the size of the project.
Yeah, this is the current, correct?
Right.
Past year. So the other variable is very simple. It's a good data. Say, for example, you're talking about 11 lakhs or 1.1 million. So what we realized also is there's an awareness issue even in Bharat. They don't know.
Exactly.
They don't know. Even if you now increase the awareness, just imagine the reach you'll get. We are talking about our first KPI we are looking at is getting it to 3 million per day. This is massive reach if you look at it.
So that's the huge potential that's there. So that's what you want to reach out to.
Okay.
Sir, is it possible if you could share the presentation slide?
Yeah, we have a investor deck done. In fact, we did a briefing. It's public domain data. We can share it again, no problem. whatever is there in the
Okay,
book.
I'll get in touch with Varsha then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we'll share the presentations with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. The last question is coming from the Vijit Global Services. I think it's Divya. Divya, please go ahead.
So I just last question. And my question is, can you provide us the timeline when we will comply with the FEMA regulations?
Which one is this? Can you give a context to it?
Yeah.
In the quarterly results, if you go through the notes to accounts, then you're saying that there are certain non-compliances related to the FEMA Act.
Yeah. So, Thompson, I'll take it. So these are all historic data, Himanshu, that we also spoke about in our last investor call. So we are working on it. So there is we have finalized on a law firm which was working with us earlier. So there is a step-up approach, and we have given our revised application, in the verge of giving our revised application to RBI. So I would say it will take another 6 months or so, 3 months to 6 months to get it resolved.
Okay, thank you. Just one last question. When I look at the results of the 9 months, reading from the April to this December, there's about a foreign currency gain of about 81 crores. Out of this is how much is translation effect?
So translation effect would be, I would say, more or less everything is translation effect, because whatever is the realized gain loss, in the tune of about 3 crores, 3 to 4 crores, the realized gain that we have. The rest is all our translation gain. But we have various buckets in the translation gain. We can provide you the data if we need.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'd like to hand over to Mr. Thompson to give a closing comments.
Hey, thanks everybody. I think it was a fantastic call, and thanks for those questions. And it always, all these meetings also helps us also to calibrate, stay grounded, keep listening as a company, and take feedback, and work towards this larger goal for our shareholders and for all of us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.